You know how some people say that if you're an angry Game of Thrones fan, you should just shut up and write something better? Well, I've decided to do that. I've spent the last 9 years writing 6 fantasy books spanning well over 500,000 words, 3,000 years of lore, 30 cultures, and have now hired a team of exceptional artists to bring it to life. And I am super happy to announce that my 5th book, Imperius, is now available on my website to read. And if you are really enjoying these lore videos, I have actually made a whole new channel entirely dedicated to diving into my world and the inspirations behind it. I already have a few videos there, so please click the link below if you want to dive even deeper into the world of my books. Or stay right here. Because roughly 3,000 years of history were created to make the world of my books, and that was to make it seem as lived in and believable as possible. And while world building, I made it a point to have something interesting happen every 50 years. This has led to hundreds of unique historical events, a large portion of them being war. Because if there's anything you want out of epic fantasy, it's conflict. But wars happen a bit differently in my world, mainly because of talents. Talents are the powers of my world, and there are tons of them. If you're interested in learning more about those, I made a full video explainer and will put a link in the description. Different nations have different signature talents that they are known for, and these must be taken into account for battle. Consider Thranin, for example. The main talent amongst Thranians is mind control. In their day-to-day lives, Thranians mostly use mind control on animals. Living alongside animal companions is a big part of their culture. But when a war starts, especially with the threat of invaders, Thranians use their mind control on people. And as long as the brain is undamaged, this applies to corpses as well. This is why pretty much no one invades Thranin. Every warrior sent into Thranin is potentially a new undead enemy for your own men to fight against, and no one wants to fight against the corpse of their best friend. Equal consideration is needed when going to war with Expia, the land of telepaths. It is incredibly difficult to maintain secrets and strategies against people that can rip them from the minds of captives. Invaders are often given orders by their superiors to end their own lives before being taken as prisoners, lest they doom the entire war effort. Still, these are more war strategies than anything else. If we want to talk about actual wars themselves, we can't start anywhere but the most famous war across all of history, the War of Forefathers. This conflict was spearheaded by Tazakan, the Ashwalker, the most powerful flame flinger of all time. Along with his 3 sons, he inspired all the elementals of the East to rise up in war against the world. The elementals believed that inventions and machinery had strayed the people of the world too far from nature, and therefore wished to destroy anything man-made to return humanity back to a more unified spot with nature. During this war, oceans swelled, mountains fell, forests burned, and whole cities blew away. How does an army fight against those who can wield the environment itself? Still, there have been more recent wars, those fought with magical weapons instead of magical powers. One such war of note was waged in the north by House Thalidamus. Medius Thalidamus would gain much renown and fame for his fighting at this time. He and his father rose up in rebellion against the Northern Emperor, and many of their neighbors joined their cause, starting a civil war. Medius rose to fame during this conquest mainly due to his arcana hammer. This weapon allowed him to take down whole armies by himself, being able to paralyze anyone in his field of vision. And so Medius won the war for his father, Arnakion Thalidamus, who would go on, unfortunately, to be one of the most reviled rulers in all of Vami's history. However, there could be no mention of war without speaking of the most recent conflict, the Regiri genocide. This was brutality like no other. The Regiri of the Southeast were fearsome fighters, ruling over one of the largest empires in the world. And the Regiri had come to such power because of their mastery of arcana, these magical armaments. Nearly every Regiri warrior had one of these weapons, and it made fighting them a near doomed proposition from the start. The only nation that could rival them was Vaemon, the empire spanning the entire northern continent. And it was only a matter of time before the two nations clashed, and when they did, the Vaemies sacrificed every ounce of morality to claw their way to victory over the vicious Regiri. The war turned into a systematic extermination of the Regiri, and the bloodshed lasted a decade, finally ending with the devastating siege of Arca, the Regiri capital city. By the end of it all, less than 1,000 Regiri were left, their empire and world dominance completely extinguished. These wars, and many others, color the histories of my world. If you're interested in learning about them, please support the channel by purchasing a book from my website, especially my newest release, Imperius, and make sure to head over to the new channel to keep updated with all the background and new information. All links below. And please, if I have piqued your interest with anything and you have questions, let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to answer. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way into the end. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you really want to be a homie, support on Patreon or go to my website for editing services. As always, it was a pleasure, and I will talk to you all again soon.